Hi, Glenn Lazarus here, Senator for the great state of Queensland. I would just like to thank ACF for coming to my office, in particular Saffron, coming to my office and giving me 105,000 signatures in support of voting down the EPPC bill, which I voted down the last time it was introduced into the Senate. What this does reinforces the notion that I'm on the right track. Australians don't want this bill to pass, and I will be voting it down again if and when it actually comes up. I'm also encouraging the federal government to instill and put in place legislation that actually tightens the legislation around protecting our water. My state, in Queensland, 85% of the state is in drought. We haven't had any decent rain for 5 years. And unfortunately, we have to deal with the scourge of CSG mining, which they have unfettered access to water. And I'm very, very concerned about our water supply for the generations to come. So thank you very much. I'm very buoyed by this. Now I know I've been given the stamp of approval. I'm on the right track. Water is our lifeblood. If we don't have it, we simply won't survive. So thank you very much.
I'm Mark Butler. I'm the Shadow Minister for the Environment for the Labor Party at the Australian Parliament House. And I want to thank the more than 100,000 people who've taken the time to consider and then sign the ACF petition about federal environment laws. We've very clearly heard the message from Australians about the importance of having the right to take your government to court if you think that your government is not abiding by the nation's environmental laws. And that's why we will reject in the Senate the government's attempt to block citizens groups, farmers groups and environmental organisations from taking that legal action. We've also heard very clearly that Australians expect their national government to protect matters of national environmental significance. This has been a bipartisan position for more than 4 decades now, protecting some of the most beautiful, pristine environmental assets that Australia has, like the Great Barrier Reef and many others. And again, we will defend those laws and reject the Turnbull government's attempt to hand those powers to state and local governments. We've also heard your petition that wants us to consider a new generation of environmental laws that take account of the challenges of the 21st century in protecting some of the beautiful, pristine environmental assets that we have here in Australia. Again, thanks for taking the time to sign this petition. Thanks to the ACF for putting it to you, and I look forward to further discussions in the election period about how we can do best by Australia's environment.
Hello, I'm Senator Larissa Waters. I'm the Greens Deputy Leader and I represent Queensland here in Canberra. It is just wonderful today to see that more than 100,000 of you have signed a petition calling on this Parliament to stop attacking the environment and stop attacking the people who are trying to stand up for it and actually do the right thing and bring in strong laws that genuinely stops our biodiversity crisis, tackles terrible soil degradation and takes climate change seriously. Instead, we've seen this government wants to give away its power to protect the environment federally and just leave that all up to state governments. And we all know what an atrocious track record they have. And it wants to bring in laws that says that community members like you couldn't go to court to hold the minister to account if he's made a mistake. Well, wrong way go back. We can do so much better. Our environment desperately needs us to, and it really strengthens our hand here in Parliament to have more than 100,000 of you who are saying we love our precious environment, we want it protected. So thank you for trying to strengthen our democracy and improve environmental protection. We will prevail. It'll just take a little while, but we're up for the challenge. Thank you again.
Thank you to everyone who signed the petition about Australian environmental laws. I have carefully considered these bills, and my office is engaged in many discussions about their impact. As a passionate off-roader and outdoor enthusiast, I know how special our environment is and how important it is that proper safeguards exist to protect them. I hope to continue discussions with the Minister about both the bilateral and standing bills, and I can assure you that I'll be discussing this petition with them. Keep up the good work, and thank you for standing up for what you believe in. Australia is a better place for it.
I thank all the people, over 100,000 of you, who signed the petition to protect our environment, to protect our clean air, water. And it is a very important issue for everyone, especially for Australia, because we have such wonderful environment, and we have to do everything we can to try to protect it. EPBC Act is a very important act which allows federal government oversight into state government environmental approvals. With that oversight, we can be confident of the approvals, especially environmental approvals that projects get, and the conditions are going to make the environment very safe. Whilst there are maybe some room for the Act to be amended to allow better efficiency, a robust process, and to remove unnecessary obstacles for job-creating projects, we have to also acknowledge the fact that we live in this environment once. We can't afford to destroy it.
To the over 100,000 Australians who have signed this petition to protect Australia's environment and stand together so that you continue to have a voice on environmental protection laws, thank you. Labor stands with you, and we will do all we can in the Australian Parliament to ensure that we have ongoing strong protection laws for projects of national significance in our country, and so that you continue to have a voice on any kinds of environment projects that come forward.
Thank you for signing this petition and sending a strong message to the federal government to stand up for our environment. The Greens don't believe that environmental protections should be in the hands of state premiers. We need to have strong environmental protections in place so that we can ensure that we don't lose things like the Great Australian Bight, and the Greens have been campaigning with the community to protect that area. We also want to ensure that the power to protect the environment isn't outsourced to organisations like NOPSEMA. We need a minister who is able to protect the environment, and the Greens support legislation that brings that about.